Hello, everybody. Paul Corbett here from Charles Fairham and Company. We're on another one of our Roadshow blogs this afternoon, podcasts, whatever you want to call them. Great to have everybody with us. I hope you'll join me in welcoming Nigel Gibbons from Crisp Malt. Hi, Nigel. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Excellent.
Welcome all.
Well done, well done. And for those of the people outside listening who don't know Nigel, do you want to just give us a brief introduction to yourself?
Yeah, so as Paul said, Crisp Maltings, and I'm responsible for the southern area. So I'm an account manager for the southern area.
Very good, very good. And I've known Nigel for quite some time. Must be 20 years, Nigel. Is it that long? How long have you been in the industry?
2002, I think we first met.
Oh, there you go. Oh, what date was it?
I don't know. I think we look quite different.
Yeah, so nearly 20 years then. Nearly 20 years. Very good. Well, just really wanted to touch today on a few things, Nigel, and really talk about Crisp and yourself and what you're doing. Obviously, things have changed quite rapidly over the last, well, rapidly, quite fast initially over the last 12 months. This time last year, we were, well, just over 12 months this year, we were looking at lockdowns and a whole industry changing. And the culture of the industry, I think, changed somewhat as well. Have you seen anything that's changing? Are you feeling any changes within the industry, how things are working?
Yeah, very, very much so. I think we saw glimpses of change already, but I think the situation has really accelerated it. And just talking to people over the last 2 to 3 months, it's noticeable that people are putting in more canning lines. They're obviously investing in their websites. Online sales are going well, and I think it's true to say that those people who were proactive are actually doing quite well. Albeit the second lockdown has been very, very tough for everybody. But I think that's been very positive, and the whole experience has given people an opportunity just to take a step back and to think how they can improve. And certainly as a company, that's one of the things that we've been doing.
Yeah, no, I think, looking at it overall, I think it gave everybody a chance to sort of rethink about the way things were being done, how they do them, and what we could do to improve. I think that's the same in most businesses. So it's been quite an interesting time from that point of view. What sort of things have you seen change? I suppose social media is one thing, and marketing and that sort of thing, that sort of changed quite rapidly over the first couple of months.
Absolutely, and as a company, we've been restructuring, so we're much more focused on marketing and not just improving ourselves, but how we can help our customers and build those relationships, but in practical terms. Yeah. So, for example, we've put some very good technical webinars out there. We've employed additional staff to help with technical problems, but also very much focused on new product development. So I think we were talking about how culture has changed. I don't think, bizarrely with Brexit, I think in some respects the drinking style is more European, in that people will maybe drink less, but they'll appreciate it more. And as a result of that, we're looking at more new product development, developing flavours, and just giving us an opportunity to differentiate ourselves, but also for our customers to look at different ideas.
So are these new products varieties, or are they new products as in new products that you're developing from the malt to give extra flavour to the beer?
Yeah, well, that's a combination of both. So I think we've been very brave with our new RevTech roasting plant, and that'll give us tremendous opportunity to develop new products. But also with the heritage range, that's particularly exciting. The traditional outlook, but modern thinking. So we have the Chevalier, which was a predecessor to Marisota, with the malty intense flavours. But we also have the Hannah, which was the first beer first barley used for Pilsner beer, and then the Plumage Archer. So, if you're looking for something different, then, I'd certainly have a look at those.
Yeah, those are interesting, because those are, with them being older varieties, I'm going back to a long time ago now, where I used to work in the agricultural industry on the farm side of things a bit more. They were all varieties that grew with long stems and fell over very easy in the windy weather at harvest time. Are those still problems with those
Yeah,
varieties?
absolutely. Farmers' nightmares in some respects, albeit the combines can get a lot lower. So, you know, if they are blown over, then it's not as bad as it would have been in the 60s and 70s. But it's mostly yield. You know, the yields aren't very good. And of course, one of the reasons that a lot of the barley growing companies are moving to spring varieties is because the yield is better. And, you know, so you're talking tons per acre. And as a result, things like the Maris Otter, it's all grown under contract. And it really emphasizes that we need to support those farmers to continue to and pay them a premium.
Yeah, I must admit, contracting ahead and making sure you've got those hops or malt barley contracted is very key. It's key in our industry as well, on the hop side, to make sure, particularly now with growers so much on their back foot, we're asking growers this year to reduce the volumes of hops that they grow. And they're saying, well, if we do that, how do we get back into the production when we start to go? I mean, it's not like barley where you can plant it every year, I guess. With the hops, they're in the ground all the time. So if we reduce the yields or the acreage this year, it takes a long time to get those going again. But overall, I think farms are being very good. I mean, they're helping to share some of the pain that we're feeling, I think, as brewers and within the industry itself generally, with pubs and everything like that. So I think you know, there's lots of ways that the growers are helping, and I think that's really good. But I think the one way we can help them is to bring in new contracts further out, just to make sure that they know that these hops or barley are going to be needed and can be grown successfully into the future.
Yeah, and it's like most things in life, it's about good communication. And whereas I think farmers used to be wary of maltsters and maltsters wary of brewers, I think everybody's talking to each other more. And I think that's beneficial, because we all like to be confident that we're going to make a living, and we have confidence in who we work with. And yeah, that's improved massively in recent years.
I think social media has also helped that, hasn't it? With the information flow, people can get hold of so much information so quickly now. And as you said earlier, in the marketing, becoming more marketing orientated, getting yourself out onto social media, doing more of these sort of podcasts and blogs is very important. People can learn about what you're doing and how you're doing it. One of the things Charlie says to me all the time is, "Paul, we do so many great things here at Barron's, but we don't tell anybody about it." And I'm sure that must be the same at Crisp.
Yeah, I think that's true of much of the industry. That you know, whether you love or hate BrewDog, and you know, I'm quite an admirer in many respects, is that they've taken the brand to another level. They've taken communication to another level, and it's noticeable recently how, you know, with the hand sanitizers and one or two other projects, they're doing a very good job in promoting themselves and promoting the industry.
Absolutely, and we've all got to do a bit more of that, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So good. In terms of these varieties, then Chevalier, Hannah, and Plumage Archer, are there many people using those at the moment? Is that just starting to grow back again, or are they been growing for a while now and people are starting to hear more about them because we're promoting them a bit more?
Yeah, well, I think to be honest, we were a little bit slow in promoting them initially, but then it came about by Crisp just purchasing 6 individual grains some 3, maybe 4 years ago now. And from those, we propagated 300 tons of the Chevalier by year 3, I believe it was. And but being backed up by the new marketing department, then yeah, we're putting something together now to really promote it, because it is a wonderful story, and it's a story that deserves to be told. And we're backing it up with some recipes and some promotional material, and yeah, it's really exciting.
Fantastic. Now, we all know the advantages of Maris Otter, or some people say perceived advantages, and not necessarily actually there. But you know, are they the similar sort of symptoms in when you're using, symptoms is the wrong word, isn't it? But similar sort of benefits when you're using Chevalier, Hannah, and Plumage Archer? Do you get similar sort of flavors to Maris Otter, or are they easy to brew with? What's the advantage of using them?
Well, people always say that Maris Otter is forgiving, and I think there's definitely truth in that. the Chevalier is very similar. The Hannah, being a lager malt, will obviously be different in terms of the nitrogen levels being higher. But yeah, I mean, effectively they're different. And one of the things we've been doing at Crisp is we've been producing things like malt teas, where you really strip it down to the basics of the grain and the flavours that it brings. And yeah, I'd recommend that any of the brewers actually try that, or visit Crisp, and we can arrange a trial like that, because the flavours really do stand out, and the body of the beer really stands out. So I think before you make a decision as to which malts you should really be using, just run these basic trials and decide what sort of flavours, what sort of beers, what sort of malts will really suit your beers and your target market.
Yeah. Yeah, I think malt tends to get forgotten a little bit. Everybody talks about the hops, which of course they should.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely not.
but some of those malt flavors do get forgotten a little bit. And it's nice to see these days quite a lot of new beers coming onto the market, the stouts, the porters, a little bit stronger, a bit more character and flavor in them, and people are really starting to appreciate those. I must admit, it's part of my home drinking. We've done a lot more experimenting with darker beers and certainly higher gravity beers, and it's been great fun. And I've learned to become a lover of the higher gravity, stronger flavors and aged beers as well. It's just great to try those, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they all lend, whether it's a hoppy beer or a malty beer, they all lend themselves to this amazing journey that we've been on. And you don't want the consumer to be bored with either. Anything that creates conversation and enthusiasm has got to be good for everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. So talking about working on different projects throughout the period, I mean, one of the things we found is that we're trying to get more environmentally friendly, trying to see how we can work on that. We're looking at a project at the moment. Are you doing anything along that line?
Yeah, well, we're actually looking to employ a consultant to work with us on the environmental matters, because at Crisp we do an awful lot, but again, we don't really shout about it.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't so much Crisp, it's a concern of mine, but I think there's far too much wrapping and packaging waste in the industry. And it would be wonderful if the industry could work together at looking at ways of reducing that. I think individually it's very difficult for companies, but if the industry supported each other, we could make a real difference there. And we're at Crisp, we're certainly looking at ways in which we can influence that.
Yeah, and likewise here. I mean, in the States at the moment, we're working very closely with different suppliers over there, and also in the UK on the laminate bags that we use and the foil bags that we use to pack our hops in. And hopefully, at some stage before too long, we'll see some of those that we can be recycled, because that is a big Achilles heel that we've got at the moment. Is the recycling of those bags isn't possible. All the boxes and the cartons are all okay, but the bags need to be more work on, and that's something we're putting a lot of effort into at the moment, which is got to be the right thing to do. And also buying locally, I suppose that's another thing that brewers can consider. Not everybody buys their hops, all their malt locally. There's a good opportunity there for people to look at that, I guess.
No, absolutely. And traditionally we've bought the majority of our barley locally. We can go further afield, and indeed this year, when the harvest wasn't as strong as previous years, we have the advantage of getting barley in from the M4 corridor, but also bringing some low nitrogen down from Scotland as well.
Okay.
So that's an advantage that we have that not everybody has.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think all these little tweaks that we don't necessarily talk about on a daily basis are all good to bring up and let people know about. I think there are so many exciting things to look forward to, hopefully, when this lockdown lifts and getting back out into the normal world again and starting to see the business grow again. Because I think everybody in the industry, whether you're doing well on cans and bottles or not, I think everybody's taken some sort of a hit. So it is quite difficult. And I think there have been quite a few customers that have been struggling during these times. And I think one of the things that is important is to try and work with those customers to get through those difficult periods, and then come out the other side, hopefully, all working together. Have you done much work on that?
Yeah, we've done an awful lot. I mean, not just with regards to the webinars and the blogs and the recipe libraries, but just talking to people. It's been very noticeable that people do appreciate the phone call. It's an opportunity. It's not, but I mean, it can be largely positive, but there are concerns. Some of them are monetary, to be perfectly frank. But I think providing you continue to talk and you're honest with each other, then most good businesses will want to work something out. So whether it is a credit control issue or whether it's something like, I mean, Crisp have been collecting malt because we appreciate that it's money that's just stagnant at the moment and not doing anything. Sending half pallets, just little things.
Little things to help.
Appreciate the small things, but showing an understanding and trying to help people through a difficult time. Yeah,
and I know one of the things that we've been really happy to help with has been stocking the malt here, the Crisp Malt here at Farehams, and stacking on a couple of boxes of hops and some yeast and some finings on top of a pallet of malt has really been quite handy for quite a lot of brewers in difficult times, and just having one place to go to and one delivery to receive and pay for makes it quite easy.
Well, absolutely, and I'd like to take this opportunity to generally say thank you to you and your team for providing an excellent service.
That's very kind, Nigel. Yeah,
well,
we do our best.
But no, we've known each other for many years, and you provide a very good service, and the service you provide reflects well upon us as a company as well. And you too offer a great deal of technical assistance, and you help. I think it's true to say that a lot of businesses, when they're their smallest and possibly at their most vulnerable, they do need that support and the arm around them at times, and that's a big part of that, as to what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. We do our best with that, try and keep everybody moving forward, and lots of technical advice, as you say, with our brewers on board as well. And we can always turn to you guys as well if we need even more technical in-depth stuff. So it's all a good combination. I mean, I think our customers out there listening will be very aware of that. But if you aren't as a customer, please get in touch with either Crisp Malt or Charles Fareham. How can people get in touch with you directly, Nigel? Or is it best to get in touch with Crisp directly, or go through the website? What's the best option for that?
Well, all three options are good. I mean, in terms of telephone numbers, they're very welcome to have my mobile telephone number, but to ensure that you do get to speak to somebody straight away, then probably the Crisp main telephone number.
Main office, which is on the website.
It's on the website, yeah.
Fantastic. That's great, Nigel. Well, it's been great catching up with you. Always good to talk, and hopefully one day soon we'll be able to enjoy a beer together as well, with our customers at the same time, and perhaps have a beer on a webinar instead of.
Well, absolutely, looking forward to it, and as much as anything, I'm looking forward to getting out and visiting the breweries, which has always been an enjoyable part of the job. And but yeah, I would like to take this opportunity, not just for myself, but for Crisp, just to wish everybody well, all of the brewers out there, and the industry as a whole. And yeah, look forward to catching up with everybody.
Yeah, I think likewise from us too at Fareham. So well, thank you, Nigel. It's been great catching up, and we'll catch up again soon, no doubt. If you've got any other bits and pieces that you want to contact Nigel about, please do. Him and his team are there waiting for you for your inquiries. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you now. Bye-bye.